Ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to my birthday party. I want to thank all of you who've come out on this rainy day, including members of the Sousa family. Are there any members of the Sousa family here today? Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much. And of course, my fellow Masons, and I am wearing my Hiram Tacoma and I'm here. I'd also like to give a tip of my hat to my alter ego and fellow spirit, the 17th leader of the Marine Band for 12 years, Mr. Sousa. Now you know why Mrs. Sousa fell for me. I want to thank the veterans among us for their service. You know, next week is Veterans Day, November 11th. Of course, we knew it as Armistice Day. This year will mark the 100th anniversary of the end of the Great War, which we also knew as the War to End All Wars. I fervently wish that had been true. Anyway, thank you for your service. So another rainy birthday. I appreciate everyone's enthusiasm and willingness to be here anyway. I well remember a very rainy day in July 1892. Not my birthday, but the day I left the Marine Band after 12 years as leader to go off and form my own civilian band. We gave a farewell concert at the White House, and in spite of the rain, there was a huge crowd on hand, including President Harrison. It was certainly a bittersweet occasion. The Washington Post later reported that it looked as if an army of black mushrooms had camped down on the green lawn while the heavens wept, presumably with sorrow. The band presented me with a handsome engraved baton, which is still in the collection of the U.S. Marine Band, and I'm very thankful for that, one of my most treasured possessions. So I did a few things after that, and now I am turning 164. That's not too bad. My dear wife, Jenny, bless her heart, says I don't look a day over 150. Very kind of her. I am too much of a gentleman to comment on her age. She's not that much younger than I am. But I am proud to have been born here in Washington, a son of immigrants. I'm descended from a Portuguese father and a German mother, but of course, I am a patriotic American through and through. I even have a patriotic name. Take a look, it spells out USA right there, plain as day. Since my birthday falls at the beginning of November, it's often coincided with an election, like today. My 6th birthday, on November 6, 1860, was a memorable one, although I'm sure I did not completely understand that at the time. There was quite a commotion that day. You'd think there was a birthday, a funeral, and the 4th of July going on all at the same time. I thought the hullabaloo was for me. On that day, Abraham Lincoln was elected president. The next 4 years were an interesting time to be growing up in Washington, to say the least. Among other things, I got to hear a lot of military bands and march music. And as we know, music can excite strong emotions and patriotic fervor. But music can also soothe, it can calm the soul and the mind. A case in point happened at the St. Louis World's Fair in 1904, where my Sousa band was giving a series of concerts. There was an enormous audience in the music hall when in the middle of the program, a passing storm caused every newly installed electric light to suddenly go out, leaving the house in complete darkness. A succession of sharp cries from women, the hasty shuffling of feet, and the nervous tension manifest in everyone gave proof that a panic was probably imminent. So I called softly to the band, Yankee Doodle. And the men quickly responded by playing that good old tune from memory in the darkness. We quickly followed that with a rousing rendition of Dixie, still very popular in that border state of Missouri. The audience began to quiet down, and some scattered applause gave assurance that the excitement was abating. The Star-Spangled Banner further restored confidence, and as the electricity still did not come back on, we played, "Oh dear, what can the matter be?" By then, everyone was laughing and joking about the concert in the dark. Giving up on those newfangled electric lights, the managers turned on the old gas lamps, and we proceeded with the rest of the program to much applause and relief. You know, from childhood, I was passionately fond of music, and I wanted to be a musician. I have no recollection of any real desire ever to be anything else. Although once, when I got fed up with my music teacher, I told my father I wanted to be a baker. He arranged for me to work for a baker on Barracks Row for a couple of very, very long days. And that cured me. Having that brief experience, I can't imagine getting up in the middle of the night to get the bread rising. I've often been working on my birthday, usually leading the band. Many birthdays over the years have been spent on the road, and many of the celebrations were nice but unremarkable. An exception, perhaps, was my birthday in 1910, when we appeared for a concert at the Metropolitan Opera in New York City. The next month, we boarded ship for the first leg of our year-long world tour, and I was able to take my wife and 2 daughters along with us. That was quite a birthday. I also recall my birthday in 1926 when I turned 72. We were in Milwaukee, and as the train pulled into the station, all the locomotives blew their whistles. When I asked about this, I was told, "Mr. Sousa, it's in honor of your birthday." Well, I replied I would prefer it if the railroads would save their steam and just pay higher stock dividends. So over the course of my career, I came to believe that one inspired march can outshine much other music. Certainly, I became known for the Stars and Stripes Forever and Semper Fidelis, and I'm very proud of those works. But my international reputation as March King was formed when I wrote the Washington Post in 1889, when I was still Marine Band Director. The Washington Post was probably one of the most popular pieces of music in the world at that time, not just as a march, but as a dance. In fact, it had repopularized the two-step dance, which was then giving the waltz a run for its money. Many composers and publishers of new dance tunes began labeling that style of music a Washington Post. So my reputation grew over the years, and my interaction with the public became more interesting as well. I often received interesting requests or questions during my concerts, which were sometimes written on torn slips of paper and passed up to my music stand. I would get requests for the Ice Cold Cadets March, high school cadets. Or questions like, what is the name of those 2 instruments that look like bundles of gas pipes? But my favorite remains the note written on the edge of a program that was delivered to my dressing room. "Dear sir, I came 40 miles over the mountains to see the man who makes $25,000 a year out of his compositions. Kindly oblige me by playing them all." That would be quite a program. But now, it is my great pleasure to introduce the musical organization that holds a special place in my heart. I think back to some of my best work from those days, Semper Fidelis, of course, as well as The Gladiator, The Thunderer, my early operettas, and our many performances at the White House, the first national tour of the Marine Band. But even though I wrote it in 1896, after I had left the Marine Band, my thoughts also go to Stars and Stripes Forever. Did you know that I also wrote lyrics for that piece? So here are the first few lines. See if it makes you think of the Marine Band. "Let martial note in triumph float, and liberty extend its mighty hand. A flag appears amid thunderous cheers, the banner of the western land, the emblem of the brave and true. Its folds protect no tyrant crew. The red and white and starry blue is freedom's shield and hope. Ladies and gentlemen, with the national colors as well as the flag of the United States Marine Corps, I want to present to you some of the finest musicians in the world, the United States Marine Band, the President's own, under the leadership today of the Assistant Director, Captain Brian Sherlock. Captain Sherlock, thank you, sir. Carry on.